So here in this Java programming, suppose if you want to learn a programming language, so first point is you need to separate the syntax as well as logic, right? So syntax part as well as logic part, right? So syntax. So next one is logic part, right? So you need to separate syntax part as well as logic part, right? So what is logic? Logic is nothing but human sequential thought is said to be logic. Human sequential thought is said to be logic, right? So by birth, the Indians are good in mathematics. Once you are good in mathematics, then however you are good in logic, right? So logic is human sequential thought. If I am telling the definition, you may or you may not be understand. So I need to go for some example. So what is my example here? It is. So John's mom says that I have 4 children. I have 4 children. So my first child name is April, second one is May, third one is June. So what is the name of 4th child? So here the name of 4th child is, it is June. It is, what is? Children?
John.
John. Yes, it is John only, not July.
July.
It is not July, it is John only. Here you need to observe the statements. Children, are you able to see my notepad?
Yes, sir.
John's mom says that I have 4 children. So my first child name is April, second one is May, third one is June. What is the name of the 4th child? It is John. That is sequence as well as thought. We need to apply our brain. Here we need to apply our brain. So by birth we are good in logic. Indians are good in logic by birth. So now we need to talk about the syntax. What is syntax? Syntax is nothing but grammar of programming language. Programming language grammar is said to be syntax. Yes, there is a programming language. See, it has some specific grammar. Like there is a English language, it has some grammar. There is a Java, it has some grammar. The grammar of programming language. Else the rules and regulations to define your programming language is said to be grammar, syntax. Right. So some people with the lack of syntaxes, they are unable to develop the programs perfectly. Right. So if you go for C programming, so there is control plus F1, help is there, F1 help, control F1. If you go for C++, then there is a help, F1 is, by using control plus F1 you will get the help. If you go for Java programming, right, so there is Java API, application programming interface, right? If you suffer with the syntaxes, then you can go for this API, Java API. You can check the syntax of that particular statement. Then you can command write the program, right? There is no restrictions. You don't see this API and something. You can see this API, no problem. Even exams also you can see the API. There is no problem, right? Application programming interface, right? So you can see the API and take your logic and implement your program, right? So we are not restricting, don't see this API. With the help of application programming interface, you can develop your programs. Children, are you following? Children, are you following?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You can take Java API help and you can develop your programs. Okay, na? So this is not only this one. After first mid of instructions, after first mid exams, then we can use some IDEs like IDE, integrated development environment, NetBeans, WebLogic, right? So my Eclipse, right? So we can use after we are getting familiarity with these editors, right? We can use after first mid of examinations, we can use this IDEs. If you are using IDE, don't bother about the syntax. It will provide, right? It will provide the syntax, right? So our main intention is we need to develop our logical parts very well. If you are good in logic, then you can develop the optimal solution, the best solutions. The best solution. Those people who developed the best solution, they will become automatically the best. They will selected for placements. Right. So now here, this is first point. What is the first point? We need to see the syntax part as well as logic part different. Right. If you are not good in logic, you need to try to develop your logical skills. Even though if you are lacking in syntax, there is a help from Java API or some IDEs. By using IDEs, we can get the syntax, but logic part you need to develop your own logics. Okay, na? Right. So now this is about the first point I want to tell to you. So you studied about this C and C++ and next Java programming. You studied these two programming languages, na? So again, why we are studying this Java programming language? Right. So the first question is why? Right. So as engineering students, you need to ask the 6 questions: why, what, when, where, this type of questions. Why we need to go for this Java programming? Yes, anyone can tell? Why Java programming?
OS independent.
Platform independent in nature. Good, Rahul. Any others? Yes. Please talk, Meghana, Gayatri, Soumya, Devineni.
More libraries are present there.
More libraries, easy. Right? So we are studying Java programming language. Why we studied this Java programming language? Children, yes, please concentrate here. This is the last chance to learn your programming language. Right? So next there is a web technology subject which is most relevant, 50% of Java. Yes, servlets, JSP, JDBC, these 3 units from Java basics only. If you are good here, then you will get automatically there only. Right. So here first one is why we learn this Java programming language. Right. So for that purpose, so we need to differentiate between C, C++, and Java programming language. Right. So here C is procedural programming language. Right. So C++ and Java, these are said to be object-oriented programming languages. C++ and Java are said to be OOP, object-oriented programming languages. Okay, now, right. So C is a procedural or structural programming language. C++ and Java is object-oriented programming languages. So why we need to study this object orientation? What is the need of object orientation? Object orientation. Yes, what is the need of object orientation? Children, please speak out.
Sir, access modifiers and implementation of all the concepts of inheritance and etc.
Yes, hoops principles. We can easily use hoops principles. Okay, right. Next, children, please talk. Kirti. చెప్పండి తల్లి తండ్రి మీరు మాట్లాడితేనే దెన్ వీ కెన్ ఈజీలీ కమ్యూనికేట్ ఎస్ ప్లీజ్ ఫరియా
Sir, we can replicate real life.
Okay. It can well describe the real world objects. Yes, good.
Use
Next one is This object orientation well define real world things. Okay, right, good. Any others? One way communication is very dangerous. నేను చెప్తూ పోతూ ఉంటే మీరు వింటున్నారా సినిమా?
Yes, sir. We can replicate real world objects.
Yes, we can replicate real world things very well.
Next classes.
Meghana, you are not talking anything, na? Are you there? టాపర్స్ ఉండట్లేదు క్లాస్ లో.
Using OOP.
ఇంకా గాయత్రి, సౌమ్య, దేవినేని, are you there or not?
We can bind all data and functions into one unit.
Yes, binding the data. Okay. Binding the data.
Yes, sir.
Encryption, sir.
Binding the data. Okay. Encryption or encapsulation? Encapsulation or encryption? Array, meer video mode on cheyandi. Yes, those people ఎవరికైతే వీడియో మోడ్ సపోర్టింగ్ ఉందో ప్లీజ్ టర్న్ ఆన్ యువర్ వీడియో మోడ్. ఎస్, వీడియో మోడ్ ఆన్ చేయండి. దెన్ వీ కెన్ ఈజీలీ కమ్యూనికేట్. అట్లీస్ట్ బై సీయింగ్ యువర్ ఫేసెస్ వీ కెన్ టీచ్. Some people who is there is no problem for bandwidth, please turn on your video mode. You can easily concentrate on this. Yes. No one? If you are not turn on video, then you may not concentrate thoroughly here. Okay, choice is yours. So these are the object oriented